What I want to show you now is how to stop smoking, the Young Living way. This is not for people that don't smoke. This is for people that do smoke and are wanting to go to that next level. What's in here is nicotine. What they do, they sell these cigarettes. They're trying to get people hooked. See that? It's a dose of nicotine. But it's called an electronic cigarette, and it looks like a cigarette. So it could certainly give away the wrong meaning. But what I want to show you now is a very easy way, well, that's up to you to decide that, but a very good way to stop smoking, using essential oils. And I don't believe this has ever been done before, and if it has, well, it should be being shown. But what I'm going to do at the moment, you should wear gloves with this. Now, I've actually done this already, so they come in that little packet there. There's about 5 or 6 of them in that packet. Okay? Now, what I'm doing is, at the end of that, you can see that there is a little piece of plastic. And what I have done with a knife is I've cut around this. Okay, now you're not going to be able to see it very clearly there, but I go like this, cut around it. And then what happens, as you saw then, this little piece of plastic, the end came off. Now I hope that the manufacturers don't see this, because they'll probably make it so that you can't get the end off. But now I've used a pair of pliers, or sorry, you can use a pair of pliers. I've actually used this, it's a clip on the end of it. And what you do then is, first off, you just remove that little piece of plastic. It's like a little O-ring, and that's in the top there. You can just see that. So that needs to come apart. Then you take the clip, put it in there, and then you see that come out. Now this is empty. Let's place that down there. Like I said, you should have gloves on when you're doing this. This has nicotine in it. You unravel or unwind this. This is just a piece of Dacron. Now this is not that easy to get out. You have to tug at it. So a pair of needle nose pliers will be better. And that little plastic piece there. So I'm actually going to go now and wash this so that all the nicotine is gone. And yes, I know what you're thinking. And you're right, it doesn't give out a good message. But it's much better than the alternative. So what I'm about to do now, that's the core, the centre part. There's the Dacron. I've actually washed that in the Thieves household cleaner, or you can use the waterless hand cleaner, or the Thieves soap. And now you put that into the centre, and I've wiped it. I've washed it and wiped it. So I've squashed all the water out of it. Now it becomes a little tricky, but you need to wind that into it as tight as you can. And then you've got to try and put it back into that butt. Okay, squash it in and just sort of circle it like that. A few twists, and there. That's inside. Then you get this, and don't forget you need to wash these as well, because they've got nicotine on them. I've just come back from washing that little filter there, well, not filter, O-ring, and then that's the end. So they've all been washed free of nicotine, because you don't want to be putting nicotine back in. Obviously, that's the whole purpose of this, is to get the nicotine out. Push that back in the end, push the little lid back on the top, it just fits in there, pushes in. Now, if you want to, that's just falling out again, if you want to, there's 2 ways of filling this. One is through the bottom of it, or before you put it together, you can fill it from the top. So what I'm going to use is a drop of Young Living cinnamon. So I'm going to put a drop in there. I've got 1 drop of cinnamon, actually, yeah, no, 1 drop's enough. the cinnamon back there. I'm going to put 2 drops of sacred frankincense, and if anybody knows the value of sacred frankincense from the Middle East, you'll realise, oh, there's about 4 drops went in there. Oh well, doesn't matter. You will understand the value of frankincense in relation to that word starting with C, which I'm not allowed to mention that name. Now I'm going to put a drop of peppermint in there. You can do peppermint or spearmint. You can have a spearmint flavoured oil cigarette. Okay, that's the peppermint. And that's probably enough. I could, if I wanted, to put fennel in. Actually, I will. I'll put fennel in there too. A drop of fennel. Now I'll put the top back on. It's charged. And the Dacron has absorbed it all. And there it is. It's charged. Now if it's together already and you don't want to go through the trouble to pull it apart, what you do is you turn that white bit there, turn it upside down, and you can then fill it from the top. I'm going to put a drop of clove in the top of this one. I'll probably put 2 drops in the top of this one. If it'll hurry up and come out. 1. And wait for it. I know it's an exciting, suspenseful video. 2 drops of Young Living Clove. And that will then soak into the top of that. Now you screw that up there. And then you have clove, which is, clove oil is basically in cigarettes anyway. And then you have clove. As you can see, there's a lot of smoke comes out of clove and out of the frankincense. Now it looks pretty wild. I'm not a smoker, so I don't actually take it into my lungs. But we have seen smokers that actually are drawing that back into their lungs. We need some people out there to be using this, working the ones that are trying to stop smoking, and let's see what we can actually, if we get some feedback from people. And again, I know this is not giving out a good example to people, but think of the alternative and try and get over that and help people that are smoking to kick the nicotine habit. And the oils are not addictive, obviously not. If you want to recharge these, you can. That's a USB charger. You screw the battery into the bottom and plug it in. You could, if you wanted to, you can have a USB electric charger from electricity. That's the American one, but same thing with the Australian one. And you plug that in and it charges it. It's pretty wild, but it's very effective and it works very successfully with the oils.